Hi, welcome back to the channel. Well, if you want to build the sort of hardest core version of this car, of the road-going version of the car, you need to build a Lexus RCF Track Edition. I think I have a second build for this car, and if so, I will pause the video and insert here a little clip from an earlier garage tour with it in. This is my current build on this impressive car, and I'm going to put a link below to Pistonhead's article where the photos have come from and where there are further photos, and a really nice little description about this 450 horsepower sort of track monster, but also very livable with as an everyday car. Of course, it's a tuner DLC car, and it means that you can do that thing that we've almost forgotten about, which is you can colour the interiors, which is really handy when it's a vibrant red like this car. Forgive me if I fumble, I haven't seen the build of this car myself for some time. For the front bumper, we've just gone stock. I mean, there's a lot of different options here, as you can see, from mild to wild. But it's very important that we have this bit here in the metal colour. On the rear bumpers, it feels a little boring to say we're on stock here. But you know, stock is very close to the bumper that we are going for. On the exhausts, this was a difficult one, I remember, because what I actually want are the quad exhausts but stacked. And the only quads here don't stack and I think look worse, and that is why I simply picked these anodized exhausts. Been a bit black, it just sort of hides them away. I tend to hide away exhausts if I can't get them right, but you could also choose the quads that are in there. For the fenders, we just have stock fenders. You can bolt pieces on, but that's not appropriate for this car. There are, of course, no headlight covers. Hood accessories are none, because the car is not hardcore enough to have hood pins. And it's a carbon stock hood. Gives you the little inlet, looks perfect, and it saved 80 kilograms, I think the article said, over the standard hood for this car. So, yeah, really important piece. For the interior, dash stock. I mean, this still stays very road-based inside. Doors are stock. Seats are stock. You would have expected something more racy bucket, but they didn't have. Again, I think the stock wheel looks best. And as far as I can see, there is no roll cage in the car, which is a little surprising. For the headlights, I note that I put xenons on the car. I do wonder, I think this car might be far too modern to have had xenons. In fact, I'm going to put it back onto stock lights. We're not using a livery. The mirrors should be shiny black, which means they stay stock. Obviously, you want some form of black plate, I think, to hide it away. For the respray, this is metallic black. There's a weird thing in the game where it doesn't show the metallic colour necessarily later, but it is. And there's just a subtle dark steel pearl. The secondary colour does a few parts, including the brake calipers. So why have I not gone Torino red for the brake calipers? Well, if you watch the bonnet, you'll see why. The bonnet is going along with the secondary, and that's just not right. So I've had to just put up with saying, well, I'll have classic black calipers then, please. For the trim colour, blaze red. I think Torino is too bright. Blaze red just seems to give that vivid red interior that's, of course, really visible through the glass. For the roof, we want to put the fin on the back, so a carbon fin antenna. The roof is stock, it already comes carbon, and it's just a smooth overall roof, and that's the one you want. These sort of inset roofs and things, nice though they may look, they're not what the car has, so that's an easy option. Skirts. The car does have a subtle skirt, pretty much exactly this shape, So race skirts. For splitters, this rally splitter I think is perfect. We get the stuck out part and we get the little wings or winglets up on the end here. A spoiler, I've got the street spoiler, and effectively on this car, I think that's the closest you're going to get. It's a little bit too angled, but it has the central brackets. If you go one up, you get the arrow spoiler, which is really getting even bigger, I think. And if you go smaller, well, you get the hoops, and then you go to all the subtle ducktails and things. So that's why I've picked that one. No sunstrip on the car. On the suspension, there should be some air between the top of the tyre and the arch. So stock might sort of be best. I think that's a little bit high. So the next one down is lowered, because this is one of these cars that will go stupid. Lowered is pretty good. For the wheels, I think I spent out slightly unnecessarily here. I think there's a slightly cheaper option. The Cheetah RR generally is a good shape for this. It's not the only good shape wheel, but I did want to have black with a sort of silver or diamond turned rim on it. And so I just decided to take a wheel from the end of the high-end category that allows you to do that. You may find ones you prefer, but I like these. Now, for me, it looks like I actually went into chrome, and I picked the chrome version of the Cheetah Carbon R, just so that that little bit there is genuinely sort of glinting, diamond turned. So I think that's the absolute best, but it looks like it costs nearly $80,000. So if you want to save some money, you could, of course, come into here and take the £22,000 one from the normal category and paint it in some sort of silver, which I think it looks like it's some sort of colour like that now, but I do prefer the glint. Let me come to the windows. You know, I gave them a light smoke, but I honestly think let's have none. In reality, they're privacy from here back, and they're very little from there forward. And I think when you've got this red interior as a real part of the car, I do think none works better. So that completes the build, and it's a build I really like, and I can't really think of much else to put on this car. Of course, you can therefore put it in a Japanese car section, a track car section like I've got it now. There's a few different places you could store this. Of course, it's a very good driving car with exceptionally good handling. Quite neutral handling, really. You know, half decent sound. Good tuner's DLC car, really, this. So that's my build. I hope this build suffices for the person who requested a build on this car. If you like real cars in GTA, of course, do subscribe. There's so many on the channel now in the back catalogue. And like the build if you liked it. And of course, thank you so much for watching.